I think most of us have imagined what it would be like to be famous at some point. Millions of people getting to know your name, your videos getting thousands of views, walking into a room and people actually recognizing you, how people care about what you say, and honestly, that sounds pretty nice. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with wanting to be successful or wanting your work to reach thousands of people. But I've been thinking, what if you don't actually want fame? What if what you really want is to feel important? Because those things can look almost identical from the outside. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Iman, the face behind Iman's Green World, and my mission is to really help my Muslim brothers and sisters just become the best they can be. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I'm just trying to help the best way I can. So if you are really interested in getting on this journey with me, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. So without further ado, let's get back to the video. You might say I want millions of followers, but underneath that could be I want people to notice me. I want people to think I'm talented. I want to feel like I've achieved something. I want to prove that I'm actually good. But that's where fame gets complicated because being known can be really nice until being known becomes part of your identity. At first, the attention is just the bonus. You make something you're proud of, people like it, and you're happy. But then you get used to it. You post something and check the views, then check again and again and again. And suddenly, 1,000 views doesn't feel exciting anymore because someone else got 1 million. So you try to make the next thing better, then more impressive, then more viral. And eventually, you're not creating because you love what you're doing. You're creating because you want people to keep looking at you. And I think that's one of the strangest things about fame. The more attention you get, the more you start to fear losing it. Because imagine everyone knows you are the person who's always winning. What happens when you fail? Suddenly, failure doesn't feel like failure. It feels like everyone's watching you fail. And that can make you scared to try things you're not already good at. You don't want to look stupid or disappoint people. And you don't want to ruin the image you have created. So you stay inside the version of yourself that people already like. And that's just like self-murder when it comes to your growth. Because growth requires you to be bad at things at first. You have to be willing to make the ugly first attempts, get things wrong, and be a beginner. But when your identity depends on looking impressive, being a beginner becomes terrifying. And then there's the other side of fame, the pressure to look perfect. Because when people are watching you, you learn very quickly what they like. They like the pretty pictures, the achievements, the confidence, the exciting life, the perfectly worded opinions. So you show them that version. And there's nothing wrong with presenting yourself well. But if you're not careful, you can become so focused on maintaining an image that you stop letting yourself simply exist. You have a bad day, you don't show it. You fail, you hide it. You're confused, you pretend like you have everything figured out. You are struggling, but you still smile. And eventually, people aren't even following you anymore. They are following the character you've created. The weirdest part, you might actually start believing that character is you. There's actually a psychological reason that this becomes so addictive. Humans naturally care about social approval. When people praise us, like our posts, compliment us, or celebrate our achievements, it feels really, really good. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying that. We are human, of course. But the problem is when validation goes from being something you enjoy to something you depend on. When you start thinking, if people like me, I'm valuable. If they ignore me, I'm not. If this post does well, I'm talented. If it flops, maybe I'm not good enough. That's when numbers start telling you who you are. And numbers are absolutely terrible at doing that.
We are sorry to interrupt your viewing, but do you all see this girl right here? She spent a lot of time making this video and she would really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this with people who really need it. Thank you.
Because numbers change, followers change, trends change, people's opinions change. One day everyone's talking about you, the next they have moved on to someone else. So if your identity is built on being noticed, what happens when nobody notices? This is where I think Islam gives us a much healthier way to look at success. Allah always says countless times that the most noble in his sight are the most righteous, not the most famous, not the most followed, not the people with the biggest achievements, not the person everyone recognizes. Your worth isn't determined by how many people know your name. And I think that's such an important thing to remember, especially when we live in a world where popularity is constantly being measured. Followers, likes, views, subscribers, comments, everything has a number attached to it. And sometimes we accidentally start measuring ourselves the same way. But Allah doesn't ask you how many people you knew. He cares about who you were. your character, intentions, and relationship with him. The things you did when there was absolutely nobody there to applaud you. And honestly, I think that's the real test of fame. Not whether you can handle everyone knowing you, but can you make something beautiful without posting it immediately? Can you have memories? Like, can you actually live your life without trying to live it for someone else? Because I think we need parts of our life that belong to us and us only. A book you read that nobody knows about, a hobby you do just because you enjoy it, a goal you're working towards quietly, a good deed that no one saw. Because if you really want to know whether someone is righteous or not, watch what they do when nobody's watching. Well, I don't know whether they'll still catch you watching, but you get what I mean. Those things might never get you followers, but they build something much more important. They build a person, and that person is what eventually takes you to Jannah. And I'm not saying you should never want to build audience. You can want to influence people. You can work to your work to reach millions. You can dream ridiculously big, like so big, like you wake up. Like, have you ever dreamt so big? They start wondering, do I really look at the like feasibility, like the possibility of this happening? Allow yourself to dream big. Please do. And there's the difference between saying I want a lot of people to hear what I have to say and I need a lot of people to hear what I have to say in order to feel like I matter. One is ambition, the other is dependence. And maybe the healthiest goal isn't to become invisible. Maybe it's to become someone who can actually be known without needing to be known. Let that sink in. If you post and it gets no views, it doesn't affect you. Continue living your life. If you have a great achievement and your friends don't really like, they don't really shower you with praise and adoration, you are still proud of yourself for getting that achievement. Because one day the views will stop, the trends will stop, someone younger and newer will come along, people will move on. And if all you built was an audience, that can be a pretty terrifying thought. But if you use the attention to build character, knowledge, skills, relationships, faith, and a life that exists beyond the screen, then you haven't actually lost anything. If you want fame, ask yourself why. Not the easy answer, the uncomfortable one. Do you want influence? Do you want to create something meaningful? Do you want opportunities? Or do you just want someone somewhere to look at you and say, you are enough? Because if that's what you're searching for, I don't think fame is going to give it to you. Maybe that's the truth about fame. Being known by millions doesn't necessarily make you know yourself. So build a life that you can still love, even when nobody's watching. Because at the end of the day, the most important person you have to become isn't someone the whole world knows. It's someone you can be proud of, even when the whole world looks away. I think most of us have imagined what it would be like to feel. But there's nothing wrong, and there's nothing wrong with the things you did when there was absolutely